Jerome, and Paul, all the way back there. Guess what? Clinton is somehow back, everyone. She's back. And what do I mean by this, that she's back? Well, Clinton is still disappointed that Sanders held off endorsing her in 2016. And she was actually on Howard Stern's show. So I think it's only fair for our viewers and subscribers that you guys listen in onto this clip. And more importantly, you get to hear what she's saying. And surprise, surprise, she's going to be talking a little bit about Russia. So enjoy it.
Do you just ever want to just lay in bed and say, fuck this, I'm getting out? I mean, I am going to go into full seclusion and they're never going to hear from me again.
No. First of all, that would only delight my adversaries. So I would never do that. But secondly, I have this unique perspective, some of which we've been talking about today. I have a unique perspective. I have a particular understanding of the Russian threat. And it's not going to only be Russia. I mean,
so you must be laying awake at night.
I do. I worry a lot.
Because you know what the shenanigans are.
Yes, I worry a lot.
You've negotiated with them. You've seen secret intelligence. I
have.
And you know that, there's these guys who from Nigeria who phone your home and somehow finagle $6,000 out of you by doing that. Yeah. And they're brilliant at it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what's going on when Vladimir Putin sits there and plans against the United States.
Well, but you can read the indictments against the Russians. And a lot of people didn't pay attention to it, but it's very informative and scary.
Do you mean the Mueller report?
Yeah, the indictments.
Okay.
The report itself, I think, is also worth reading. But if you read the indictments, basically they were like, hey, let's do everything we can to elect Donald Trump. I mean, those are quotes
those are
taken.
Words they
those
said.
Are words that taken, and they also said Bernie Sanders. But that's another day.
Do we hate Bernie Sanders?
What?
Do we hate Bernie Sanders?
No, I don't hate anybody.
Bernie could have endorsed you quicker.
He could have. He
him.
hurt me. There's no doubt about it. He hurt me. But going back to the indictments, because that's what's really important.
Have you ever spoken to Bernie about that?
No.
You don't talk to him?
I don't talk to him. Yeah, I mean, we did when he finally endorsed me and all that.
But you're upset with him?
No, disappointed. Okay. So, and I hope he doesn't do it again to whoever gets the nomination.
Right.
Once is enough. We have to.
Everyone
things
unite.
Are very
we have to
join
right forces, and people could speculate and have some good reason to speculate about how bad it might be with Trump in the White House. Now we know there's no guesswork. We know, and we know that given his personality and his rage against anyone who questions him, Lord knows what he might try to do. So it's time to retire him.
That's Bernie, the totalitarian dictator.
Yeah. All right. So here, let's make things very clear so that everyone's listening and so we can, bring in the perspective. Kira, welcome to being on the show.
Woo.
Yeah.
What happened to Jerome? Where's he at?
Jerome got kicked off the show. Sorry, Jerome. I know you came all the way from California, but...
So, again, I got to say this about Hillary Clinton. Please go away because everything you're adding is irrelevant as usual. And once again, remember, this is the same person who was saying that Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian asset and thus, charging her was a very serious crime. And now she's making this very same statement about Bernie Sanders saying that, I hope that he will endorse the Democratic nominee, whoever that is. That's interesting language that you're using, Hillary Clinton, because you're assuming, or from what you're saying, that Bernie Sanders isn't going to get the nomination, all the while conveniently ignoring the fact that he's getting a lot of endorsements from a lot of progressives, grassroots, and independent organizations, that he is really the front-running candidate, and all the other establishment candidates are grasping at straws. Yet the arrogance, the audacity of Hillary Clinton to even say this again about Bernie Sanders, that he is this divisive candidate and that Russia is somehow, spooky Russia is in the background, is somehow going to undermine our democracy. Our democracy is already undermined thanks to Citizens United and McCutcheon's decision, where money is speech and corporations are people. The people who are crippling our democracy are those in Wall Street, big banks, major corporations who've bought both the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment. And Clinton is a prime example of neoliberalism. And here she is, once again, speaking out her fake lies, her fake truths, and she's just trying to remain relevant, clearly in a political environment that doesn't need her. But Paul DuPont, I want to mention something real quick because I want to bring you in on this. You mentioned two interesting tidbits of information about how she was basically saying that Bernie Sanders didn't fall in line quick enough to endorse her. So, Paul, do you mind adding into that conversation?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing that Hillary brought up was like, or that actually Howard Stern brought up, Bernie didn't endorse you soon enough. And so I was like, when did Bernie officially endorse Hillary? So it was on July 12th of 2016, which was roughly 2 weeks or so before the DNC convention. The DNC convention was July 25th through the 28th. And so I decided, so that's a pretty, you're kind of quibbling there. I mean, it was before the vote officially, right? It was before the actual convention. Like, what do you want? And then you go back to 2008, and Obama had essentially become the presumptive nominee at the beginning of June, and about a week later, that's when Hillary endorsed Obama. Now, that was a good 6 to 8 weeks before the actual primaries. So, but we're quibbling over a matter of weeks here. These are both after all of the states have voted in the primaries, but before the convention. That's the time period we're talking about. They both fall in that window. But somehow Bernie wasn't fast enough. He was a few weeks too slow.
He was supposed to endorse her while he was running for
for
that spot.
It's almost as if that she's complaining about something that she actually doesn't care about. She's complaining that, let's decode what she's saying. What she's saying isn't what she means. What she's saying is, I didn't win. It's clearly not my fault. It was my turn, my time. I got everything set up. I waited, and now I was here, and I didn't win, and it's not my fault. Whose fault is it? Bernie for endorsing me before the convention, but not soon enough.
Right.
And again, I will remind people, and this always gets lost in how things go. 12% of people that supported Bernie in the primary didn't support Hillary Clinton. 25% of people that supported Hillary Clinton in 2008 didn't support Barack Obama. So if there's anyone out there that you could say was not a team player, everyone remember Puma? Party Unity My Ass? That wasn't a Bernie group. That was a Hillary group. It's Hillary's people and Hillary on aggregate who have this issue. Bernie people turned out. It just so happened that she ran an abysmal campaign and told the people that she needed to get the votes from the most to go suck it, and if that didn't work. This is just Hillary Clinton. I'm sure she would be irate if Bernie Sanders won. Because if Bernie Sanders won and did a lot for the Democratic Party, everything that we expect him to do if he does win, then what does that mean? It makes the entire argument that was originally made by us and other people that Hillary stole the election from Bernie Sanders by rigging the primary at the DNC. And the entire thing that they can say is, well, he wouldn't have beaten Trump if he got in. If he beats Trump now when he's not just the nominee, but the elected president, that takes all these arguments that either her or Obama have made and just flushes them down the toilet.
Yeah, and Bernie Sanders stumped for Hillary hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Hundreds of times. That was his main focus during that period of time, if you remember. And Barack Obama, did not sign on to stumping for Hillary's campaign until October of that year.
Huh, wow.
So
Very
where's
convenient.
all the blame, being heaped toward Obama for not having supported Hillary sooner as well? So I feel like, I was going to say her commentary is misplaced, but it's absolutely not misplaced. This is on purpose, look over there, something shiny, something else to pin on Bernie to make him look like a candidate that is dividing the party when actually he's one of the only candidates that's unifying the party.
Not only unifying the party, but he's also the kind of person that's building a large coalition because, look, there's independents, conservative, and Republicans that like Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not saying that the entire Republican voting base is going to vote for Bernie Sanders. That's not going to happen. But it's a sizable portion to where Bernie Sanders could turn key red states during the Electoral College into blue states, swing states, to secure himself to win the general election against Trump. But yet, here you have Hillary Clinton trying to remain relevant. She's trying to weigh in and constantly using these fear tactics of, look at Russia. Russia's going to get involved. And Bernie Sanders didn't fall in line quick enough She's ignoring the fact that people continued to follow Bernie Sanders long after the 2016 election cycle, going into the midterm election. It was Bernie Sanders that motivated a lot of progressives, most notably the members of the Squad, to get involved during the midterm election cycle and actually lead the way for a new progressive wave, an independent wave of people that want to bring in political reform. It's Bernie Sanders that did it, not Hillary Clinton.
So I just want to add, I don't mean to throw any shade directly on Howard Stern. That was his show, right?
That was his show, yes.
Hillary's fallen. She's on the Howard Stern show. I'm not anything to Stern, but from her point of view, she would much prefer to be on a CNN or an MSNBC and have them go, oh, Miss Clinton, of course we'll do a 20-minute sit-down whenever you want. That didn't happen. She would have loved to be on TV. I'm sure she was like, okay, if Stern is the guy that'll let me on, because
She's
confident.
like, I'll show my tits. It's cool. Right? Isn't that what Howard Stern does?
Of all the shows, yeah, but I mean, I
She's
kind
at
of
that
wish.
point. Don't push her too much further.
I kind of wish that, I don't know, maybe if she would never show up on Joe Rogan's show, because Joe Rogan would really ask her some more hard-hitting questions.
He would just ask her questions, and then she would look like a fool.
Yeah,
Well, of
and the
course.
thing is,
Well, she looks like a fool already, even when things are spoon-fed to her.
Like, honestly, like, I would ask her, like, where's the real evidence of Russia interfering in our democracy? And hey, what about all the countless times that we, the United States and its military-industrial complex, interfered in the democratic elections of other sovereign nations, in Central America, South America, the Middle East, and everywhere else. But no one's going to talk about that. No one's going to bring that up because everyone's afraid of Hillary Clinton, save for two people that I know, Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who actually have the courage to actually stand up against the establishments.